protests outside the Potters International Hotel in Aldershot yesterday became hostile. Around 150 people attended with signs, banners and a small group confronting riot police. Locals in Rushmore made their thoughts clear about the hundreds of illegal migrants being moved into luxury flats and also hotels. And joining me now is Jez Stocking, who was at the protest yesterday. Jez, welcome to the show. We've had you on before, of course. You were campaigning before in Rushmore against 300 luxury apartments given out to asylum seekers, and now you've moved on to the Potters in International. Tell us, who was protesting there? Because it seems, we just heard from the Prime Minister, that anybody attending these sort of protests is a far-right thug.
I know, it's actually shocking. If people look through all the footage from last night, you'll probably see 50% were local women, lots of young children there, probably 200 to 300 protesters. I would say out of that 200 to 300, probably 10, 15 might have been from out of the area. But it's just, to brand people as far-right protesters is just ridiculous. What you see here in these pictures is the working man of Britain, the working man that the Labour Party used to support, and they've totally turned their back on us. This is why I believe people are out on the streets protesting. We're saying we want a voice.
And Jez, you have concerns about people coming in from outside the area. We often know that we don't know who people can be if they're coming from overseas without paperwork. Can you tell me about then the police response that ensued? You've had many of these protests over many months, Jez, and we can see on our screens here a very, very heavy-handed police response. Tell us more.
Yeah, I think we've been protesting now for 2 years at the hotel, 7 months at the flats. We've got a great police liaison officer who I deal with on a weekly basis. We've had one problem before with the police, but that was soon sorted out. And yet last night, I think a few people entered the hotel grounds and then the police swarmed on us like a hit squad. I can't believe it. I think a few people entered the hotel grounds because one of our sort of people that goes and looks around the hotels on a daily basis just to see if there's any movement. He was assaulted on Sunday afternoon, and I think people were angry about that nothing was done about that. But we were swarmed on by the police, but the police will be able to tell you not one of the protesters turned on any of the police. We see the police on our side. They're working men just like us, and I expect they're fed up with the situation in the country.
And Jez, the BBC called you a mob. Your local MP, Alex Baker, said it was intimidating behaviour. But we can see here police helicopters, riot vans, at least 9 squad cars and dogs were even deployed into the hotel car park. Feels like, is this a taste of things to come? Sir Keir Starmer seems to want more of these kind of clampdowns. How does that make you feel?
I've just listened to Keir Starmer on the telly as a former Labour voter myself, and one of my friends just texted me who's a Labour voter. I'll never look at that man again in the same light. He's meant to be on our side. They've totally turned their back on the British people. They're allowing illegals to flood the country and fill up hotels and give them more rights than local born and bred Brits who are actually funding these illegals. It's the local MP, Alex Baker. I've had 2 meetings with her, which I think have gone very, very well. But yet even last night, she said these were people from outside the area. She's only lived in the area a year and a half herself, so who does she know who lives in the area and who doesn't? I live 4 miles away, but I've spent 40 years in Aldershot and people are calling me an outsider. She's been here a year and a half and she's a local embedded in the population. It's nonsense.
OK, Jez Stocking, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll make sure we keep a close eye on your protest as we move forward. Stay safe out there. Now, we have a response from the police force. The Assistant Chief Constable, Hampshire Police, Constable Paul Barmatello, has said this: the swift and decisive actions of our officers last night saw this incident brought under control, preventing further harm to the community in Aldershot. Our role is to protect people's lawful right to protest, while also preventing serious disorder and disruption to the local community. It is totally unacceptable to turn that lawful right into criminal acts, including incidents of criminal damage, racial abuse and intimidation. Our specialist teams are working hard to identify anyone who has committed a criminal offence, and we will take swift and robust action against those people. Well, Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has said action will be taken following what he called violent disorder in parts of England in the wake of the Southport killings. You've sent me hundreds and hundreds of messages about what he said, and most of you are not very impressed. More soon. I'm Martin Dorby on G.